Hängt sich erst bei das Spiel auf, Leute. Ich hoffe mal nur, dass es jetzt... Ich weiß nicht, wo es sich gespeichert hat. Ich denke mal an einen beschissenen Punkt.
Rebell. Anhörung.
Kluckingball. Hm? Ist die Frage, warum sind die hier vorne nicht gespawnt?
You had better return to Whitechapel without delay. It will be safer there.
Safety isn't really an issue in Whitechapel, because you never are, never have been. The old place is falling to pieces. But thank you for the advice, sir.
Ja, ich habe gewonnen.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again. Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital? Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Please show me what you have to sell. Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful. It never ceases to amaze me how...
Was tun wir doch so vor?
Hier gibt es einfach mega die Abkürzung. Ja, moin. So, den Typen da will ich aussaugen. Ich muss seine Erkältung heilen.
You had better return to Whitechapel without delay. It will be safer there.
Safety isn't really an issue in Whitechapel, because you never are, never have been. The old place is falling to pieces. But thank you for the advice, sir.
You had better return to Whitechapel without delay. It will be safer there.
Safety isn't really an issue in Whitechapel, because you never are, never have been. The old place is falling to pieces. But thank you for the advice, sir. Was I that evil to deserve such punishment? My only regret is that no one will mourn me, for I have never been loved.
Naja. Eigentlich wollte ich ihn heilen, aber es wollte ich nicht so richtig. Dieser Typ, Junge, ich will auch mal so viel Ausdauer haben, dass ich so oft angreifen kann.
Alter. Wieso ist mir scheiß kalt?
Keine Ahnung.
Das ist kein Deutschland.
Alter, chill mal. Dieser Typ ist ja nicht mehr normal, Alter. Der rasiert ja alles weg, Junge.
is no place for you, sir. Don't come any fucking close. Crush the leaf, boys!
Gucken wir den. Oh, Alter, wie der mir hinterher geflitzt kam, Alter. Verreck, du Arschloch, Alter. Ich kenne das Spiel schon, das ist echt mega geil.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the eldest patient here.
Goodbye, Milton.
Please, sir. I need help bad.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find him anywhere.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. Please, calm down and give me more details.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but... well, we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off towards the canal.
How long have you been searching for him?
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survived the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend. What can you tell me about your friend?
His name is Oswald Thatcher. We survived the war together. Oswald is... nervous and quite fragile since we came back from the war.
Where was your friend the last time you saw him?
He went down by the canal. He didn't want to go to the hospital. I think he went to the sewers on purpose. So I couldn't go after him.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Oswald's best friend. We served in the same regiment, sir. We've taken care of each other since we came back from the front.
This is a dangerous part of town. What are you doing here?
We were looking for the Pembroke Hospital. We both need help. Treatment, I mean. To get some sleep. Just need to feel better, sir.
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals, or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
You listening? Watch out, boys!
This is an impressive knife. There's a name engraved on the metal. Clay. What kind of man puts his name on a knife?
scheiße schwer.
Mhm. Dankeschön. Wenn ich kannst du auch Lichter machen. Ganz schön duster hier. Ja, das sieht schöner aus.
Wer ist denn die also daher?
beim besten Willen den Krieg nicht besiegt, Alter. Der ist noch ein bisschen zu stark. Boah, 2 Stück und 10. Das Ding war richtig wertvoll. Ach nee, da hinten haben wir der. Ah, der ist ein Typ. Okay. Eisen, Taffrat und Chinin. Hier muss ich jetzt rein. Hat sie schon aufgelegt, oder?
Was?
Hat sie schon aufgelegt? Du hast hier irgendwas Schwarzes.
Ja, ich hab schon aufgelegt übrigens. Xbox-Familie, ach du Scheiße. Jetzt oder was?
Nee, mit einer Nase hier war das. Jetzt aber weg. Schon ein Stück Asche oder so. I don't know. Ja, Mann, ich sag's ja. Die haben's geschafft, Alter. So, mal gucken, was jetzt hier so für Gegner kommen, wa? Genau. Oh, hier wurde irgendjemand gerade umgebracht. Aluminiumpulver, Aluminiumfragment, perfekt, das brauche ich öfter.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Ja, das Blut ist noch frisch. Das ist auch ganz frisch. Ah, da kommen auch Gegner, Level 8. Das geht aber noch. Ah, dadurch habe ich die Tür jetzt aufgeschlossen. Ich gehe zuerst an dem hier. Dass der sich überhaupt an mich rantraut. Tschüss. Hier geht sogar die Blutlache durch. Gewöhnliche Stachelkeule. Boah, das Ding ist sogar richtig gut. Ah, die Angriffsgeschwindigkeit ist aber ganz schön wenig. Aber dafür habe ich jetzt ja etwas bessere Waffen schon mal. Oh Mann, hier. Hab eine Stachelkeule. Bam, Alter, hier kann ich alles zerfetzen mit. Hoho. Wieder ein Blut. Kammerjäger. Ah.
I have this thirst for blood.
Leichtes Regenerationsserum.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Aber hier unten kann ich mich hochhielen mit Ratten. Riesige.
Ich bin auf Toilette.
Mach das. Das ist eine riesige Kanalisation, was auch immer. Deutsch ist da. Kanalisation. Jetzt haben wir's.
I can't breathe.
Oh lol, da kann ich einfach rüberlaufen. Geht's nicht bitte. Das ist doch bestimmt dieser Typ, oder? Den ich suchen muss. Ich will zuerst die Überraschung und dann das Vergnügen.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay. I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
Mr. Thatcher, your friend Newton sent me to help you. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Ich könnte ihn töten.
Are you sure you're all right?
Die merken es denn noch nicht mal.
Yes, I'll be. As soon as I can see the sky again.
Wollen wir einen auf richtigen Vampir machen und alle aussaugen? Ich glaube, ich mache es. Ja, Max. Soll ich ihn aussaugen, ja oder nein?
Was ist das für einer?
Es ist der Kumpel von dem anderen.
Gibt's auch Streit?
den ich irgendwie suchen soll, weil er unten in der Kanalisation.
Was ist jetzt der Guck davon, der dich dafür beauftragt hat oder gesagt hat?
Ne, den soll ich suchen, ja.
Den?
Ich denke mal, wenn ich ihn umbringe, dann werde ich hier sagen, dass er leider gestorben ist da unten.
Schwierige Entscheidung, sowas, ey. Wäre das so bestreitig gesagt, bring ihn um, aber ist ja nicht leider der Fall.
Maschallah drauf da.
Drauf da.
Newton, don't be sorry. We'll meet again soon, and we will be serene and beautiful.
Dafür habe ich sogar eine Menge Sachen bekommen. Ich will das volle Erlebnis in dem Spiel. Ich will alle aussaugen und dadurch nur noch kämpfen müssen, weil diese Kämpfe sind mega geil. Mal hier weiter, wa? Oh, sogar ein Ladebildschirm.
Ich verstehe die Frage.
Nee.
Nee. Hat einen Freund, ja? Das schreibt mir Herzen. Fehler.
So ist das immer.
Auch schon wieder ein krasses Bild von dir gekriegt. Du
Ja.
verstehst.
Ja. Das war der Ausgang. Boah, da müssen sogar die Dinger hier laden. Die Grafik.
Hello again, Mr. Blight. I'm happy to see Mr. Thatcher is safe, for now.
I'm eternally grateful, Doctor. We were total strangers and you helped us anyway. Can't thank you enough, sir.
You are always
Er
welcome
denkt,
at the Pembroke
dass
Hospital.
in Sicherheit ist,
As a
obwohl
former
tot ist.
officer, I'll be honored to welcome a fellow veteran.
I'm not giving up on bringing Oswald back to the hospital. I just need to convince him that he needs some help.
Perhaps he needs to reach that decision by himself.
Could you speak to him? He doesn't usually listen to doctors, but perhaps because you've been through it, you can talk him round.
Why do you stay here now that Mr. Thatcher's back?
It's complicated. Since the war, Oswald's been really nervous with the idea of entering any hospital. And me, I've got my own issues.
Can you speak about them?
Rats, sir. Even seeing one, they turn me. Just want to run. It's that fear that stopped me from going after Oswald when he left.
What can you tell me about the war, Mr. Blight? If you want to speak about it, of course.
War was... well, you know, sir. The stench of death everywhere. Your mates lying bleeding in the mud. Just praying to make it through and get home. Bloody nightmare.
Did you know Oswald Thatcher before the war?
No. We met in the battlefield. I think we're in the same boat to France. We've stuck together ever since.
I fought in France, too. I served as a field surgeon.
but it was not uncommon to repel an assault, especially at night.
Yeah. The first time I was wounded, I had to protect the infirmary from hostiles. Twice.
You and Oswald were buried alive during the war. Tell me about it.
Yeah. It was last summer. A shell hit our trench and we were buried for a week.
Oswald seemed far more traumatized than you by the event.
It wasn't the first time it happened to me. Surviving it again gave me strength. You believe that?
How did you survive for a week?
Luckily for us, there were rations and water in the tunnel. It was an outpost, see. Since then, Oswald's not keen on being inside for too long.
How do you feel about Oswald, Thatcher? You are more than friends, aren't you?
I love him. I love Oswald. We knew we wouldn't survive the war without each other. But I am terrified, Doctor.
What frightens you so much?
If people find out. Oswald says I'm ashamed, but it ain't that. It's more, well, you know. Never thought I'd love a man.
Was? Mach doch.
Maybe a time will come when you'll not have to hide who you are. But for now, I can only advise caution.
I know, Dr. Reed. Oswald wouldn't survive behind bars. Wouldn't live long if we were separated.
What caused your phobia of rats, Newton?
It happened last year following an artillery attack. I was trapped for 2 days in a hole under 2 dead soldiers. And there were rats.
Go on.
They started eating me as soon as I dozed. Gnawing at my ears, my fingers, lips.
Oha!
I couldn't move.
Das ist kein Döner.
Okay.
Couldn't call for help.
I see.
No, you don't.
Hey!
You have no idea what it is to wake up buried under bodies. Fucking vermin eating your flesh. Oswald. He found me and saved me.
Goodbye, Mr. Blight. Take care of yourself.
dich setzen, mein Schatz? Ja. Ach ja, lass gut sein.
Was du damit meinst, meine einzige Frage gerade.
Was?
Und schon wieder kriege ich es von allen Seiten Abschluss. Schönen Dank euch. Lasst mich einfach alle in Ruhe. Was kriegt denn ab jetzt?
Bestimmt von diesem Basti waren die.
Also hier geht die Blutlache lang. Interessiert keinen. Wie soll ich denn hier durchkommen? Geht's hier hoch?
I have this thirst for blood.
Hast du mit Käse drauf?
This is despicable.
War nicht eigentlich Pommes gemacht? Ach du Scheiße, hier ist ein Werwolf!
Creature is this?
Oh! Oh! Oh, der hält was auf! Der ist schwach. Macht auf jeden Fall Geräusche wie ein Bär.
What sort of creature is this? Not a lot to check. Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her. I can't believe I'm doing this. I have thirst for blood.
Willkommen in Salzwedel.
Die haben so schöne Sachen gefunden. Ne? Weißt du, wie viel sie ausgegeben hat? Mit 40 waren das, ne? So, muss man sagen, ne? Oh, du hast selbst schon gerade an der Hose, Max.
Boah, Zweifel.
Ist da was aufs Sofa? Guckst du mal zum Vorher?
Freunde, der Fleck geht nie wieder raus.
Nee, ist nur für Hose. Wow.
Was?
Bilder.
Habe ich einen?
Ja, sag mal, klar.
Genauso wie er fühle ich mich gerade bei seinem Gesichtsausdruck. Ah, geil. So.
Du stehst ja bestimmt früh mit Angie auf, ne? Oder bist du wach?
Ich stehe erst noch mit dir rein.
Hast du morgen noch Knieschmerzen? Lässt du das eigentlich nicht zu Hause?
Okay.
Ich stand ja heute Tag um 3/4 war ich da. Und sehe nur, dass sie rumpelt. Und sie hat dezent Knieschmerzen, ne?
Nicht den ganzen Tag, das geht schon länger.
Nee, das war ihr Hacken.
Ja.
Und ich habe zu ihr gesagt, sie soll zum Arzt gehen. Das kann böse enden. Willst du sonst kurz mitkommen rüber, Angie? Komm mal mit. Also ich habe zwar Kraft, ne? Aber ich habe Angst, um die zu tun. Da geht's Hände waschen.
Ja.
Freund.
Ja.
Plus und. Das darfst du gar nicht. Muss.
Na, Luca? Hier habe ich ja immerhin schon ein bisschen was geklärt. Das wäre sogar ein bisschen praktisch, wenn ihr eine Küche macht, sonst schmattert er hier halt voll. Wie hochlustig. Ein Offline-Game oder kann man das auch im Multiplayer spielen? Nee, das ist ein Singleplayer-Game. Das ist ein komplettes Story-Game, was ich auch sehr gut finde. Dann gibt mir wenigstens keiner auf die Kimme. Das ist unser Unterschlupf. Okay, danke. Kein Problem. Da war eine Ratte.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Hört sich mal wieder geil an. What? Ich hab mich jetzt mal wegteleportiert, oder? Schon mal einer weniger. Saug ihn aus. Gib mir die Hand. Zack, zack, weg. Perfekt. Was haben wir denn hier? Kann man aber irgendwie gefühlt in jedes Haus rein, was ich ganz geil finde. Ist aber echt nichts. Was gratis ist? Ja, Genshin Impact habe ich schon. Finde ich aber langweilig. Es war ganz in Ordnung, aber da sind mir zu viele Kinder unterwegs. Die sollten mal eher ihre Schule erledigen, anstatt mir so viel zu zocken. Ich darf das. Ich habe mein Abitur abgeschlossen. XD.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye. The god grew more and more every year. Fuck, it's fast.
Die haben wir mit seinem Brandpfeil da. Bedenklich. Genau hier muss ich lang. Aber ich will nicht. Schutzschild. Boah, der ist hart. regenerieren. Hallo? Ey! Boah. Boah, Alter. Ich brauch sein Blut, Alter, sonst ist hier gleich finite. Boah, was der ausgehalten hat, Alter. Richtig hart daneben, der Typ.
Im Laden habe ich sie schon rumpeln lassen, ne? Ich erst gedacht, ihr Haken. Und dann sind wir ja am Morgen
I cannot enter.
Family umgestellt, wir wollten es jetzt nicht mitschleppen. Und jetzt sind wir schon.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail. First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Was für ein Bekommen. Ah.
Soll ich ganz kurz noch mit dir reden?
Bisschen.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
Gangs are ruining this neighborhood, if you ask me. If I could get some working, everything would be better.
So. Aber wie, das spricht sich rum. Ich leg mich auch mit meiner Mutter an. Ne? Aha, jetzt bin ich hier.
Shooting a boy in the middle of the street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
So, Max.
Den sollte ich suchen.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu.
Siehste, mit der Grippe. Das ist wie Corona, Leute.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills. Everything's coming up roses.
Auch das? Max, es gibt Ärger. Ich sag's dir gleich, wenn da irgendwas rauskommt.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
Funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for
Ich
migrants.
muss mein Stream-Handy anstecken. Sonst wird das nichts hier. Ich habe besser 3%. Wenn ein Handy mal wie eine Konsole wäre, Alter. Das Ding da läuft durchgehend und es verliert keinen Strom. Der absolute Hammer wäre das, Alter.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching
Kannst
for
du noch
her
mal runter?
too. I need some pills.
Dankeschön.
But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Also? Fällt dir an Angie was auf?
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him.
Nein, nicht der Charakter.
I'm sick in the head, you see, and the
Nein.
boy just
Ist mir sofort
paid me last
aufgefallen.
nerve.
Kennst mich doch. Komm. Nein. Das ist was Persönliches. Was? Nein, nicht mit dem Charakter.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
Funny, I've been searching for her.
Weißt du es?
I need some pills.
Komm, wir beide denken gleich.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
I have found a very interesting letter. Your son planned to prove his worth to the gang
Sieht so aus wie eine Ärztin.
Oh, I see. Son of a bugger thought he could use his dad to build a reputation.
The gang's recruiter was dead when I found him.
Bist du dir sicher, dass das jetzt eine gute Idee
Perhaps
ist?
you should take better care of your son.
I love my Albert, sir. Believe me. It's just... Well, I'm an arsehole, I suppose. Anyway,
Bist du dir immer noch sicher?
thanks for the letter. This is for your trouble.
Nein!
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Boah, genauso wie ich. Das ist ja bestimmt eine Verkäuferin hier, was?
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really?
Die verkauft Alkohol.
Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Das wird interessant.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
It's all a bloody joke to you, isn't it? Stealing drugs from the sick and suffering. Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your life away.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Even the flu is no match for the Swanborough cordial.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to. No one's there. There's nobody here. There's no one in.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be for Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nethercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
It's locked, all right. I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day.
Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane? So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
Right then. Show me what you have. Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
I have heard enough. Goodbye. Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Soon the time will come.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything in involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Pay me a bottle and I'll be nasty. Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not your concern, Doctor.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever. Very well. Goodbye then. The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
It ain't humans! I shall fear no evil.
This man stunned me with his faith. His crucifix. This is not good news.
are blinded by your false faith.
Gut, Leute, dementsprechend, wo ich sehen tue, dass es eine Menge Aufgaben hier zu tun gibt, würde ich sagen, geht es hier beim nächsten Mal weiter. Ciao und Baba.
Dann rauchen wir jetzt noch eine.